Well, we're getting Sharpshot 21 here. It is time to start getting some of this Voron together. We got the bed working. We got the Z-rails on. Or we got the rails on. This time we're going to get the Z-axle done. The bed frame started assembled, and we'll see how far we get into the frame assembly itself. We'll see where we get. I may have to go dig out the iron, or the soldering iron, so we can get some heat sets installed. But let's get you set up on the table, and we'll start. Alright, so we have the front bed support, two bed side rails, and the back rail. I also have some M3x8s, some M3x12s, and some M3 nuts. To get this going, we need two side rails, so with the one without the two holes in it. Two M3x2s. I think one size up on the, yep, on the bit driver. These are fairly straightforward. I go in, a 3x12 down the front. Get it sucked in. One M3 nut. Slide it in. M3x8. Run that down from the top. Grab a second M3x8 and we run that into the tapped hole at the back. Leave the head proud by about 2 mil. And repeat the other side. Time to grab the one with 2. This slides in. And then if you can get the correct wrench. Which this is the correct wrench, I believe it's a 2 mil. Gently snug, and then we've got some nuts to preload. I'm going to do 2 here, 6 here, 1 and 1. No, I would suspect it's probably not. Actually, I had this upside down. So 6, 2, 1, and 1. Some of the ruiners of good things. The ruiners of many good things. But not not all good things. Just a chunk of them. Because I dislike big box stores that co-opt all the everything and buy out the little people. Like, yes, I buy from Amazon a bit. Does not mean I like their business model. I buy from Walmart a bit. Does not mean I like their business model. Okay, at this point, all the nuts are preloaded for the bed. We're going to set that off to the side. Careful not to lose them. We're going to need them later. Alright, now that the bed is done, grab 2 B pieces for M3x6s, or M3x10s, and keep a hold of your nuts. We're going to need 4 of the M3x6s. We're going to need 6 of the M3 nuts. Tweezers are your friend. And we're going to need 4 of the M3x10s. Okay. Take 4 of your nuts. Put them on your screws. Your M3x6 screws, that is. Right. Take 2 of your nuts. Feed them into the channel. Take 1 screw, put that one side, one screw, run it down the other. If you're doing a non-modified V0.1, those 2 screws are for the stepper mount. If you're doing a modified V0.1, those 2 screws, if you're doing the modification I am, which we'll get to it when I get to it, are going to be for part of your Z drive, not your stepper mount. The stepper mount is in a different location. Take your other M2x6 set, and then right at the top. So M3x10s. We run into the sides. Again, leave the heads proud by about 2 millimeters. I'll get these done up and I'll come back. Okay, so one thing I haven't put on are these stops. There's 2 that go on each of these. I'm only going to put one on because the other one obstructs the bottom. They go on with 2 empty nuts. And I believe two M3x6s. Also, the top ends of the rails need to be 33 millimeters from the top end of the extrusion. Now, I think that's going to be universal regardless of whether you're using a modified extrusion or a modified height or not, because that's going to compensate for your bed height over carriage, if that makes sense. So let's get these locked down. And then I'm going to take one of these locks, because one of my other rails only came with one lock, and stuff it on there, and the other one can go right into the trash. Now, those are set, these are set, or are they? Let's flip these over. Now, these need, if you're using standard size, 3 of the nuts. I may go 5 nuts, but I think 3 should be sufficient. So actually, I'm just going to do 3 as well. If you're doing a Bowden drive version, 1 gets 3, 1 gets 5. But if you're doing a direct drive like I plan to, everybody gets 3. And we deal with it. If you've got burrs, like I do still, those are going to be a little bit of a problem. Just knock them out. Two, 3. I'll scoot those down because they're going to get trapped in by these extrusions. 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to set these like this. And for the moment, we don't need to put any more in pre-loaded. In a second, we will. So make sure the one with the 2 nuts goes to your bottom, which is the short side. Okay. All right. Now, that will happen if you're not careful. All right. Okay. So what we need to do now is get 2 more of the C rails, or extrusions, excuse me. And so these rails we get to slide on just like this. through the side. I'm just going to gently snug these. We will tram this up in a moment. And in doing so, we will also set the width between these and the offset from the side. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. Now, as near as I can tell, sometimes it's easier to use one of these. Come on. It appears to be square. Assuming that's square, but it looks to be square. I'm going to snug this one up just slightly. And this up just slightly. Okay, so this rail needs to be 58 millimeters from the edge of this rail in, which would be easy if we just had that rail to deal with, but we don't. We have this rail to deal with, and this rail is 15.1. So 15.1 plus 58 is 73.1. Check up here that it's still 0.1. 0.1, yeah. So 73. Okay, 73.1. So 73.1. Okay. Between this rail and this rail should be 54. 54. Okay, so those are a little tight. The important thing, next step, is we're going to get this mounted up. I got to go get the soldering iron out so we can put 2 heat sets in. We get these mounted up. We get the bed mounted to this. We run it up and down. This rail is fixed. This rail is the one you adjust. Alright, so let me go get some heat sets in here, and then we can see about getting this bed mounted up and this trimmed out, and continue on with the frame assembly. Soldering iron's out, got the heat set tip in. For those that haven't done these or seen these, this is a heat set. You'll note this is not the spec heat set. That's okay in this instance. How you do these? I put my soldering iron at about 400 degrees. I proceed to take my tweezers, hold my heat set, a little bit of down pressure, and heat set installed. We will repeat for the second one. I may bump my heat up a little bit. Call it 450. Now it can take a minute. It does have to heat up the heat set. Okay, heat set is done. We'll leave that because we're going to need it for a few more. Careful, those are going to be hot for a while. This is going to be a little bit warm. Now, we have to install these onto the rails before we can install the bed on. There's an order of operations with the screws. Back to the M2x8, wherever I put that bag. M2x8. Okay. M2x8 socket head cap screws. You need a small one of these for these screws, because one of them you access through this hole like this. So it is a little bit tricky. And my advice, tweezers. Drop it in. Go into the screw hole. You will probably have to drill the screw through. And now the screw's coming out. I'm going to pull out the one that I can put on the screwdriver for the rest. You only need the Allen wrench for one. I think you only need it for one. Maybe you need it for two. All right, let's see if we can get the top two screws done. Lock that in and then go from there. There we go. Okay. Now that those are torqued, we will back this out. Alright, well, I'll come back when I get the other one mounted up and it's time to mount the bed frame. Alright, so I made a little bit of an error when I was first putting this together. As you can see, we're a bit further along than this video is going to show. Or at least the stage this video is going to be in. This is the cable chain end for the bed. I forgot to attach this. And I also thought I had the correct cable chain. I don't. This one uses a 7mm by 7mm chain. Whoop-de-doo. I did not have one of those. I had 10 by 10s, and they had a triangular pattern for the bolts. As you can see, these need an inline pattern. So I'm going to take two of my M3 by 6s. So I believe that's what this calls for, but I couldn't tell you because the manual does not show this step, which is one of the reasons I missed it. Make sure you get them nice and snug down. And that should hold your cable chain in place. Then you can attach this mount to your carriage. So we get the carriage reattached, and then you're finished with the Z-axis carriages. So these are mounted up. What we need to do now is get this in here without losing any of the captive nuts. And the front two and the bottom two, take M3/8. So start with the top. And as you're inserting this side, line the nut up as best you can. That way when you can see it, you can get that snugged up. Now don't lock them down fully. Because the next two, what you want to do with these ones, now they go to that hole and that hole. These two back holes are for the bed. These are also M3/8. So let's get another two of those. Now take your little Allen wrench, and I'm sorry you're not going to be able to see this all that nicely, but you can take it and you can scoot the nuts to where you can see them in the hole, but I'm going to have to turn this so I can see it. So we've missed it. So the trick is, which side did it jump to? Luckily it jumped inboard. this one you can snug down. Leave these two loose still. And let's get this one. All right. And we caught that the first time. All right. Now we can snug these up. And the trick for this next piece, you go over and over. And if you can hang the carriage off the end of the table, that's going to help you. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to shove those over one at a time. There's a hole inside and one outside. But be careful as you're pushing those nuts through, because they can fall out of the rail and they're a pain to get back in. So I'm going to get those all bolted in. You're going to have two left over. That's for either your Z-nut or, in our case, the bed mount. I'll be back when those are done. The back screws are M3 by 12. So they're a little bit longer than the front and the bottom screws. Forgot to mention that as I was flipping everything over. Now, if you do happen to knock your nuts to one side or the other and you've got at least one in, you can then tilt and adjust the frame and give it a little shake so that your nuts move to the side you need them on. And always do the outer one first so that you can get to it with your Allen wrench to shove the nut into place. Because if you fail to get the Allen nut in position, or you knock it loose when you're putting the screw in and you've done the inner, you gotta undo the inner one so you can mount up the outer one. Alright. Now, this is all done together. And this side is obviously binding slightly. So, well, that's helpful. shall be. When we get this trimmed, it's one of those up and down and up and down and up and down, and you get it eventually where you need it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come back when it's trimmed up. Alright, so carrot is trimmed. Last thing we want to do, grab 2 more M3 nuts and 2 more M3x6s. And 2 more of your bumpers. Toss in a couple of nuts. Run the bumper in. I'm going to keep the stops on just in case I have to adjust that moving forward. Because you may have to remove these to get to the screw hole, the holes for the screw access if you have to adjust this side to side. But keeping these on will keep this carriage from falling off even if the bumpers are off. One last thing to do. Because this is a custom size case, or custom size V1, we have to figure out what we need to make this back panel. Now, back panel width, outside to outside, from the end of the rail to the bottom of the rail. So, .23 centimeters across, top and bottom, to 27 and 27 from top to bottom. So there's the back panel. Alrighty, so thanks for tuning in. I was getting the Z frame and assembly put together. Next time we'll finish off with the remainder of the frame and maybe get onto the Z motor. We shall see. And thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them down below, shoot me a message, or jump over into the Discord or the Gilded server. Links are down in the description below. And I will see you next time. Sharps out.